Was it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Luke on Walking Through the Bible. If you have a Bible with you, turn to Luke chapter 14. We're going to be reading from verses 1 to 6. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Luke chapter 14, beginning at verse 1. Now it happened, as he went into the house of one of the rulers of the Pharisees to eat bread on the Sabbath, that they watched him closely. And behold, there was a certain man before him who had dropsy. And Jesus answering spoke to the lawyers and Pharisees, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? But they kept silent. And he took him and healed him and let him go. Then he answered them, saying, Which of you, having a donkey or an ox that has fallen into a pit, will not immediately pull him out on the Sabbath day? And they could not answer him regarding these things. In the next few chapters, we're going to get the final teachings of Jesus before he heads up to Jerusalem to be crucified. We're going to see some miracles, get some general teachings, and hear 11 or 12 parables, depending on how you count the story of the rich man and Lazarus in chapter 16. As we're going to see, Jesus is going to be among his enemies often, and his teachings are going to become more pointed as we get closer to Jesus' crucifixion. It's not that Jesus changed his message, for he did not, but he used sharper language that he knew would enrage the Pharisees, for God was not going to force them to kill Jesus, but he was going to use their hatred of Jesus in order to accomplish his purpose. Coming to chapter 14, even though Jesus was performing a miracle here, he did so on the Sabbath day, a day in which he knew what he did would make the Pharisees angry, even though they couldn't charge him with breaking the law. The setting given by Luke here is the house of one of the rulers of the Pharisees. Now, unlike in Luke 7, where the Pharisee that invited Jesus to eat with him generally appeared to want Jesus there, this invitation had ulterior motives. They were watching Jesus closely to see if they could accuse him of something. Now, during the meal, a certain man who was present had dropsy. The term dropsy is an older term that we don't often use today in medicine, but have replaced it with the term edema. Now, to some of our viewers, saying that this man had edema doesn't help you understand what his condition was. Edema is observable swelling from fluid accumulation in the body tissues. Edema most often occurs in the hands, legs, ankles, and feet. Although edema can have many causes, prolonged edema could be signs of congestive heart failure or lung, kidney, liver, or thyroid diseases. Whatever this man had in Luke 14, it must have been a chronic disease, otherwise he wouldn't have needed to be healed. Before healing this man, Jesus asked the Pharisees a question that he knew they didn't want to answer. Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? No, he didn't ask for their opinion. He didn't ask for the ruling of the rabbis. He asked if the law of Moses permitted healing on the Sabbath. Since the Pharisees didn't answer the question at all, let's consult the Old Testament laws concerning the Sabbath. We're going to discuss two passages in particular that we covered in our study of Exodus. Exodus 20 verses 8 to 11 and Exodus 31, 14 to 17. First, let's read Exodus 20 verses 8 to 11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Now let's read Exodus 31 verses 14 to 17. You shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy to you. Everyone who profanes it shall surely be put to death. For whoever does any work on it, that person shall be cut off from among his people. Work shall be done for 6 days, but the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Therefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. The Sabbath day was a serious commandment from the Lord to be kept. Since it carried the death penalty, that is the probable reason why the Jews were so careful concerning its observance. But what was not permitted on the Sabbath? Laborious or common work. They weren't to go out and plow the fields. They weren't to go out and chop down trees and carry in the firewood. They weren't to harvest their fields. They weren't to go on long journeys. They were to rest. However, God never commanded them to stop living. Their animals needed to be fed. They could lead their animals to water, provide them their food. A stranger, not an Israelite, might come from afar on the Sabbath. They could make up a bed in their home for him to stay at. If someone got injured on the Sabbath, a doctor could attend to them. Even the priests in the temple could go about their daily routines that were commanded by God. God never intended the Sabbath to be a straitjacket for the Jews in order to prevent them from doing what was good or what was necessary. The man in Luke 14 was probably in some pain from dropsy. Jesus had the ability to attend to this man's disease. Therefore, the good thing for Jesus to do was to heal the man. So in answer to Jesus' question, yes, it was lawful to heal on the Sabbath. But Jesus went further in pointing out the Pharisees' hypocrisy. He asked them which one of them, if they had their ox or donkey fall in the ditch on the Sabbath, was going to leave the animal there to die. None of them would. They would lift the animal up. Technically, lifting the animal up out of the ditch was work, but it was lawful because doing good, saving life, was always lawful to do, even on the Sabbath. None of the Pharisees could answer Jesus on these things, for there was nothing they could answer. Jesus did right in all things. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Luke chapter 14, verses 7 to 14, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.